I am currently driving through New Mexico. Thought I'd let you guys see some of the wonderful scenery as I drive, as I am finally on my way to the Living History Project that the neighbors' drama had postponed. Like, everything had been postponed, which adds extra stress on me, because now I've got to try to get people to rush to do things so that I can get out of here on time, so that I can make it home in time, so that I can make sure I have enough artwork for my really big show coming up in just a couple of weeks. I'm going to be at Myrtle Beach for 2 weekends in a row, and this is a really big chance for me, and the neighbors' drama has violated everything and put everything in jeopardy. But if all goes according to plan, because I'm having to upload all of these videos post, you guys have gotten to see that the dirty lying engine next door, me, was telling the truth the whole time about the lines. And there's not much I can say about that. I knew where the lines were. I've been careful to know where the lines were the whole time, and the neighbors now have to face up to the embarrassing fact that all of their moaning and pointing fingers at messes around my yard was them actually pointing at their own messes. But you know what they say about when you point a finger out, you've got four pointing back at you. Also, they know what you say when you assume. And, it's not like I hadn't tried to tell them, especially that Saturday I got cussed out. I was like, there is no 10-foot leeway, there is no this, there is no that, but I wasn't going to be heard. So it didn't end that there, by the way. Oh, no. While the survey gentleman is doing it, and some of this might have been in the other videos I uploaded, but I'm going to condense it all. When the survey guy first got here, and it's important to know that his company is the exact same survey company that laid out the neighborhood. One of the neighbors across the cul-de-sac took it upon himself to walk across and have a chat. And we already knew that the Mikachut tribe had turned the neighborhood against me. Some of those people moved in after me too. I mean, they've never met me, or if they have, it's been a hello, polite as I walk by. I've never been invited to any parties or anything, so it's like, okay. And so he took it upon himself to have a chat about the property line. And then the gentleman starts doing it, and he's done, and it turns out that I was telling the truth. And so Gonchi Mikachut, lead tribal member, took it upon herself to suggest to the gentleman, according to my friend who witnessed it, I wasn't there, so that the survey was wrong. So she just basically insulted the boys' company and the boys' skills. That maybe when things were laid out, the pins that mark the property lines had been put in wrong all along. And it's like, okie dokie then. God. See, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting that kind of corruption to come forth. Because, again, it's not about they wanted the property to look correct or anything. It was about they wanted to steal. When you see that the property lines are as they are, and you look and see that overgrown mess is actually the person pointing the finger and not the person that you've been attacking, a good person, an intelligent person would offer me an apology for starters and go clean up their mess and humbly accept that they were idiots. Emphasis on idiot. But that's not what happened. So after that, the entire neighborhood gathered together in front of Gonchi Mikachut's house to discuss excitedly, so excitedly I could hear them all the way to my front door, and Gonchi Mikachut is not directly next door. The excitement of the survey. You would think the President of the United States had come to town. I swear to God, they were so excited. It was like, you got a question. Most of them, one of them looked like at least a young mother. Most of them, it's like, how is this your business? First off, that's right, they're having their little fake HOA moment, aren't they? But, it's like, it's not your business. And you're getting excited over a survey that proved the person you're attacking to be in the right. If this is the excitement of your life, go get a hobby. Learn to read so you can read a book, something. And I could tell because I wasn't close enough to hear exactly what was being said, but everybody's talking all at once. I mean, they're all so excited. But I could hear by Gonchi Mikachut's voice that she's like edging her way towards my door. And the moment that I had been waiting for days was about to happen. Now, this moment I had sat and pondered and carefully already had decided my response. Because no matter which way it turned out, I no longer can trust being alone with these people. So I went in, I locked the door. A little side on that. Yes, it's locked against thieves and against the fact that the door likes to pop open. But mostly it's locked against the fact that these neighbors have walked into my house as if they own the place at least 2-3 times. Since when I first moved in, I'm standing there. We hadn't even been there 2 days. And I'm not even like dressed one morning and I'm making breakfast for me and the youngin'. And there's this dude in my backyard looking through all my windows and I'm only half dressed. It was Gonchi Mikachut's husband. I was glad I opened the door because from the south, our standards of polite are different, so I didn't, get all upset. Curious fellow. And then when we got stationed at Fort Polk, I left to go be with my husband during that stay. And my girlfriend who was watching the house calls me up really distressed because they had just walked into our house pretty as you please, like they owned the place. And pretty much, Choshi was very distressed at how she had been bullied that day. And, and they even themselves admitted that while I was away, they had been snooping around my backyard and looking at this and digging up this and looking at that. I mean, it doesn't end with these people. So my front door has been, since I returned this time, locked against them. So someone came to my front door, and I don't know if it was Gonchi Mikachut or Pee Wee Mikachut. I do know that Gonchi Mikachut was asking us, what do I tell her? Like we care. She, Pee Wee Mikachut does appear. I mean, I don't know if she is or not. I am not her psychiatrist, but by God, she does appear to be off her rocker. But even so, if she's intelligent enough to try to do an adverse land acquisition, then she is intelligent enough to look at those lines and realize that in this battle she lost, and that she had better move her goddamn fence. So it's like, So the person at my door knocking wasn't just knocking in a polite way that would have made me rethink being my already decided choice to be rude. They were pounding like the police or someone, like they had authority to make me come out of my house even if I didn't want to. It was a very violent, unfriendly pounding on my front door, and there was no way in hell I was answering that. So I didn't. I had already chosen to, mind you, but there, you're ingrained to be polite. You put up with so much, which is how people get away with treating you like dirt often. And this was like one of the very few times that I stood up for myself and said no. And for just a second, I felt guilty not answering the door. And then they were like, ding-a-ling-ling-ling-ling-ling on my doorbell. Ding-a-ling-ling-ling-ling-ling-ling-ling-ling-ling, just hitting it. And it's like, oh, you know what? No. I am not talking to any of that gaggle without a fair witness or an attorney present. No. So and then as night fell, someone in the neighborhood was mowing in the dark. I kid you not. And I knew right then that they were going to be going back to code enforcement about something else tomorrow. So yesterday was tomorrow. And I called code enforcement. No one picked up. I left a message about that dead tree by the side of the house. And Tim called and left a message. And then my friend Rebecca took it upon her, went for me in person and actually had a chat with the code enforcement officer himself. There's no ordinance on dead trees. I'm like, yeah, that sucker's got to go. It's too dangerous. So it doesn't matter whether there's an ordinance or not. I'm worried about safety. And so, he mentioned that. And so she and him apparently had a nice chat. And it turns out the day that I had went down to code enforcement and ended up bursting in tears over this emotional duress and drama they're putting me through, City Hall had already called them and told them I was on my way. And it turns out that really City Hall doesn't view the Gulchi Mika, the Mika-Chut tribe as good people. They call them those people. The person that sided against me in City Hall is probably on their side, yes. I mean, there's no getting around it because she was not willing to be helpful and give me information that by law I was allowed to have. But the rest of the City Hall are like, yeah, they're giving 18 Peachtree Place trouble. And that really changed my view of the town because I thought the whole town was against me. And that is a terrible feeling, to feel like the entire town is against you, I have to say. It doesn't completely lift the load, but it helped. And he doesn't, the code enforcement the officer made it clear he's going to do his job according to the law. He doesn't give a crap what the Mika-Chuts have to say, which is a relief because, if I'm in the wrong, please tell me. I want to put it right, but what they're doing is just flat out illegal, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, stealing land's illegal. I don't care. So then Rebecca had the joy of telling him how they had to admit that, had to look at the fact that their messes they've been trying to get me in trouble for were theirs. And apparently the code enforcement officer thought that very funny. And that's the update on that. Husband has been going crazy. We were lied to about whether or not the loans require an inspection in order to get a loan so we can fix up the house, But at the same token, he has been looking crazy and all of the mortgage companies require an inspection. And we can't afford an inspection either, either. So we're still hand-tied on that, But no, I won this battle, but it doesn't mean I won the war. I practiced a little bit of the divination art that my father taught me because that kind of stuff's in the family and you can like it or don't, I don't care. And so, I have some things that I've got to look forward to, but part of the divination was that I was going to have to spend some money, and I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. All right, almost out of room on my phone. And you have got to see wonderful New Mexico as I go on my way towards the outside of Phoenix to preserve this woman's music. I will do more later if there's another update or I have more room on my phone or whatever.